Alright, it's been about a week since the release of the new Cosmic Crafting Zone in patch 7.3, and we are now exploring the new star, Phaenna. I've gone through all of the basic Class D, C, B, and A missions, and created a condensed list of the minimum macros you'll need to Gold Star all these missions, which will make it a breeze to upgrade your 720 Cosmic tools to the new max of 750 Stellar tools. The overall difficulty of Cosmic missions has been significantly reduced from how they were on the initial release with Sinus Ordorum on the Moon, so I'm pleased to say that there are even fewer macros to deal with this time around. A pastebin link to these macros is in the description below for easy copy-paste, and there are timestamps on the video if you want to skip to certain explanations or instructions. First things first, these macros assume you are level 100 and that you have done your job quests, as there are certain abilities that you can only access from quest rewards. For gear, I am using the crafted 750 crested armor and accessories with Teamcraft's recommended pentamelds, which mostly boils down to a ton of extra control substats. If you don't have this gear or you can't afford to pentameld it, that's okay too. I'll go over that in a bit and provide some suggestions for how you can adjust things to work for you. For the tools, I've chosen a baseline of 720 Everseekers with a single CP materia in each. This is very cheap and easy to get, but obviously as you upgrade your relic tools to 725 and beyond, I would really recommend using those in your main hand so that you get those sweet bonus credits from completing the missions. Overall, this means I am working with a baseline of 5,619 craftsmanship, 5,211 control, and 649 CP. You also won't need any specialist soul crystals for these missions. I'm not using any of those specialist actions in these macros. And lastly, thanks to the difficulty nerfs, we can avoid using food ore pots for all but one of the Class A missions. Let's go ahead and take a look at the macros now. I have labeled them based on their durability, progress, and quality requirements. This lets us match a macro to any mission's crafting requirements. If the macro fits inside the available durability that the mission has, and will produce enough progress and quality to satisfy the needs of the mission, then it's a good option to choose. For all Class D, C, and B missions, the only macros that are needed are these four here. Of these four, the 40 durability macro that produces 4,000 progress and 8,000 quality is the most commonly used, so I've labeled it with a hammer. You'll pick that one most of the time. On the blue side is a progress-focused macro that does more progress than quality, and on the gold side are two macros that are quality-focused, doing much more quality than progress. Alright, so let's go ahead and give a short little demonstration of how these macros work. I have my base gear, like I mentioned, equipped, same stats. I'm gonna go ahead and pick any one of these missions. I'll just pick with B because there's a little more diversity from the B section. I'll go ahead and initiate this mission. Check out the requirements for it. I can already tell here we've got 2,640 progress and 7,800 quality. All that needs to be done within 60 durability available. So we can go ahead and pick our hammer macro here because it only requires 40 durability and it will satisfy both the progress and quality requirements. We'll just go ahead and initiate that. And through the power of editing, we have arrived at the end of the craft. Now we'll just go ahead and do that as many times as needed in order to complete the craft. Cool. Here's one that requires multiple steps. Go ahead and do the first craft. As we can see, this one is very progress focused. And since we know that we have a progress focused macro down here, look at that. It is conveniently already perfectly capable of doing this craft with the required durability, progress, and quality. We need to craft 2 of these, so we'll make another one. Now that we have both of our pre-crafts, we'll look at the requirements here. We need 9,636 progress, and the difference, because we already have the high quality materials, so that eats up most of the quality requirements, and the difference is something around 1,000. So we can go ahead and use the same macro again for that. Perfect. And mission is complete with a gold star requirement. And as you can see, because I'm using the bare minimum stats, like I said, this just gets, it happened to get only to like 98% quality. But if I had my purple cosmic tool equipped it, which you should be using when you're doing these crafts, of course, it has enough additional quality boost on it that it would bring that up to a 100% most of the time. So. For all Class A missions, these 5.5 two-step macros are all that you will need. The gold numbers next to them are just to remind myself of the durability requirements. The actual macros are just the Step 1 and Step 2 buttons. In the 65 durability row, I have two options for the second step. One option provides 5,000 progress and the other option provides 7,000 progress. There's only one mission that needs 7,000 progress, but several missions that need 5,000 or less progress. So splitting it up like this will save a lot of time not having to wait for unused macro steps to complete before you can do the next craft. As mentioned before, there is one mission that needed additional CP from food, and that is this 55 durability mission. I used high quality runic steak for this mission to get that extra 90 CP that I needed, but once I've done this mission once, I pretty much ignore it whenever it shows up so I can be lazy and avoid reapplying food. Let's go ahead and show some of the A rank missions and how they work. It's going to be the same concept as the other missions. Go ahead and pick one of these. Let's look at the requirements for it. 4,500 progress, 10,500 quality, all inside 80 durability. So let's see, we have all of these fit with inside 80 durability, so we're just looking to satisfy both of these. This one here on the 65 row is going to be the one that gives us our 13,700 quality. That's always a great one to start with. And then we get to choose whether we want to do 5,000 quality or whether we want to do 5,000 progress, or whether we want to do 7,800 progress. Obviously, we can avoid doing extra macro steps here at the end. We'll just do as few as needed to complete it. So we'll put that as our step 2. Go ahead and do both of these steps back to back. All right, that's step 1 complete. We'll do step 2 now. And we would go ahead and do that as many times as needed in order to finish the mission. There is one A rank mission that you will encounter from time to time that does not have a macro up here specifically for it. No, it doesn't have a 2-step macro. It's one that we will be using a single step macro for, and then a little bit of manual crafting. It doesn't happen very often, but this one comes up sometimes. I could generate an entire unique macro just for this mission, but since this one here already manages most of the requirements for this, I figured, what the hell? Why do that as an entirely separate macro when you can just add a couple extra manual craft to that? So we'll go ahead and show how far this one gets on its own. There we go. So that's how far doing this macro. And if I had created an entirely separate macro for this mission, this A rank mission in particular, then I would go ahead and do train perfection, veneration, and add additional groundwork. You can do this however makes sense to you. It doesn't really matter. There we go, that completed out. You have a ton of extra durability in there to finish out the craft, and I could make a macro and maybe, I don't know, stick it right here, right? That is just for doing that additional progress. It's not really needed, considering that you can just avoid doing this mission whenever you don't want to do that manually. So I always prefer to do different missions than this one. If you farm the rest of the Class A missions, you'll have your stellar tools in no time, and overall it is very chill to do. I've been grinding all of my tool upgrades while watching YouTube or playing Magic Arena on my other monitor, so hopefully these macros help you maximize your gains while minimizing effort too. Now I want to talk about what to do if you're still working on your gear and aren't at the craftsmanship, control, or CP substats that I mentioned previously. I generally prefer to create macros that solve the quality requirements first, and then add progress until the craft is complete. This allows the macro to be more flexible. If your control substat is lower than intended, the quality might not reach 100%, but as long as you have enough craftsmanship, you can still complete the craft. If you have additional durability and CP available, then that can also make up for missing craftsmanship by allowing you to do extra progress actions to finish out the craft. And the same is true in reverse. As your gear gets better and exceeds the baseline stats that the macro was intended for, the macro will always complete the quality first and prevent accidentally completing progress early if you happen to have a lot of extra craftsmanship stats. So to illustrate this, let's pretend that I am using unmelded gear as if I'd just gone to the market board and bought it from there and didn't do any melding at all. My substats would be lower by a total of 165 craftsmanship, 206 control, and 65 CP. I'm going to go ahead and remove both of my rings, which actually removes a lot more substats than this. And then I'm going to use a piece of food that gives me additional craftsmanship and CP to help make sure that I can focus on completing the craft, but where control is not the requirement. As expected when running the macro, it doesn't quite reach 100% quality. But because I have enough craftsmanship and enough CP, I'm still able to finish all of the actions in the macro and still able to complete all of the progress and finish the craft. Even though I don't get the maximum possible credit from the mission, I'm still completing the mission, I'm still getting a good amount of progress and credit, so I'm still advancing my tools, upgrading them, getting more stats and everything every time it progresses at a higher step. So all of this is to say, don't be afraid to experiment a bit with your gear if you don't have exactly what I showed I'm using in this video. All that matters is that you have enough substats to get the craft done, whether that comes from melds, food, or pots. And that's pretty much everything I wanted to cover in this video. I'm a bit more than halfway through upgrading all my tools. After you reach 5 completed stellar tools, you will max out your bonus research to 150%, which greatly accelerates progressing the additional tools. Once I have finished, I want to take a look at these special EX Plus missions and come up with a reliable method for completing these, because they reward these tokens, which can be used to purchase the Cosmorail hoverboard mount. You'll need a total of 6,000 tokens to buy this mount, and I've gotten between 22 and 110 tokens per mission based on the score that I achieved. So it's not a bad grind at all if I can make it reliable to complete these missions. But yeah, I hope this video helps you with your cosmic crafting, and if you have any questions or issues with the macro, I'm happy to help answer them in the comments. Take care, and thanks for watching.